we're sighting in on one viewer's question. What are all the different options for in 22 rimfire? We're going to CCI in Lewiston, Idaho to find out.
Now we're sighting in with Shooting USA. The guns, the gear, and the information to get you on target.
It's a question that came in over a year ago. Jim, what are all the different 22 rounds good for? Well, the truth is I couldn't quickly come up with the answer, but I can now after going to see the specialists in rimfire, CCI Ammo, in Idaho. The Snake River, dividing Idaho and Washington, and dividing Lewis and Clark, who passed through 200 years ago. On the right bank is Clarkston, Washington, opposite Lewiston, Idaho, the valley home of the specialists in rimfire rounds for more than 50 years. This is CCI, where they will make 4 million rounds of rimfire today in a wide range of choices.
We do make the more common rounds, our Mini-Mag Hollow Point, our Mini-Mag High Speed. They're the kind of 22s everybody builds, okay? But along about 1975, our engineering group came up with Stinger, and that's pretty famous around the world now.
The Stinger was the first hypervelocity round. But to understand all the choices, you first need to understand the process that begins with brass. Coils of sheet brass fed into the cupping presses inside their sound-absorbing enclosures. The double-action draw press uses every possible square inch of the brass stock, stamping blanks and cupping them as the first step to becoming rimfire cases. Next is the pinch and trim press, with the cups turning in the feeder to be aligned and fed through tubes to the stamping heads that draw the brass to the length and thickness of a case in a single stroke. Coming out, they look more like 22 cases, but not quite. The last step is the header machine. Francis Imthern has lots of them to run 4 million cases a day, as each case is individually stamped inside and out to form the perfect rim with the CCI C-Mark. This is the stage of critical quality control to be sure all the machines are running precision brass with the perfect rim dimensions as recorded by computer. Now we've got cases, but they're oily from the presses, so it's the wash line next, soaping up with detergent in what looks like a line of cement mixers. Washed and rinsed, they go on the shaker line to lose most of the water before riding on through the dryer. To exit, clean, dry, and ready to load. But for that, we're going to need bullets. That begins with hot lead cast as billets, just cool enough to be solid, but soft enough for the press. The extruder applies 700 tons of pressure to force out a continuous lead wire that's wound on reels before being cut into individual bullet blanks. Those plugs of cut wire now go to the line of swaging machines that make multiple strikes to form each bullet according to the final product requirements. These will be conical bullets for pistol match ammo. Other swaging machines are running hollow points of different weights and dimensions. Differences in bullet shape and design are the first elements in CCI's wide range of specialty products. Some of those choices will be copper-plated. For Stinger High Velocity, the plating line is the next stop to electrically transfer copper for the hollow points and nickel for the cases. And these too are washed and dried, and once they are, we're now ready to load. Nyla Browning is working in water in the charging room, as they call it, as Jackie Lewis feeds her plates of cases organized on the vibration table. They are separated by a small blast shield because Nyla is priming cases with the green material that is relatively inert when it's wet, but volatile if it dries. Nyla rubs the ball of primer over a plate to fill the holes with a precise amount for each case, then flips it to transfer the primer into the cases. The cases then move on to the rotating disc that lines them up for the spinner machines. Before the primer dries, each case is spun to distribute the material into the rim, so your rimfire round will fire when it's hit. The cases are delivered by tube to Bev Reynolds' table. She's inspecting to be sure each is right. Any she doesn't like are out before the rest move on to loading. Once again, the cases are organized by vibrating to line up base down in 1,200 count plates. Each plate moves inside the reinforced blockhouse to pick up a precise powder charge, 1,200 at a time. The bullets are also lined up in matching trays. The vibrator table drops them nose down. The trays of charged cases and bullets are matched up and sent into the seeding press to become 1,200 rounds of ammo with each stroke. There's one last step, a ride through the lube with the rounds carried in the signature CCI packing plates. They move on to get boxes packed as 50 or 100, 1,000 to a display box, 2,000 to a shipping case, stacked on a pallet that will carry 250,000 rounds. They'll load 16 pallets today. 4 million rounds of rimfire for America's shooters and hunters.
The rimfire shooter today, they are hunters, they're plankers, target shooters. Varmint's a big deal today, so you can, with all these different types of products, you can basically hunt, shoot targets, everything with a rimfire gun. So it basically offers everything you need out there.